This episode will be dedicated to the debut EP from the Melbourne punk band known as Public Figures. And if you want to hear more, please stick around. This is All Gas, No Trash. My name's Adam, and welcome back to the program, and welcome to a brand new episode. My excitement for this project is immeasurable. I've been looking forward to this since Public Figures announced this back in December, if I'm not mistaken, like late December. And it's been 6 to 8 weeks, and I was gritting my teeth waiting for this thing, and I feel like Sid in Toy Story when his big rocket finally arrives at his house and he starts opening it. He's like, "Oh, it came! It finally came!" That is how excited I am. Ready to listen to this debut EP from Public Figures. And we have a few episodes that we've made in the past with respect to Public Figures, including an introductory episode, and we started catching up with all the singles that were being released at the time, all the way up until Cut It Out. And now we have this debut EP that we're going to be listening to track by track. And also, I don't know if we're going to give a score, but we'll certainly give our opinion on it nonetheless. But I think part of my excitement for this band is that I feel like they're going to be a real standout, not only within Australia, but just in the punk scene in general. And I do have to say that Australia has one of the strongest punk scenes in a broad sense, that they have bands like Gut Health, who are, I guess, punk adjacent with their post-punk sound. Another great band from Melbourne. You also have Amyl and the Sniffers, The Chats, GT, and 1-800-Mikey, amongst many other bands. And it sounds like a lot of them kind of exchanged members, so it's kind of interesting how small the community is already between like Suncoast, Sydney, Melbourne. So it's just, I like the fact how closely knit, or at least I get the impression that the punk scene within Australia is closely knit. They're supportive of each other, and they've just been putting out fantastic music, and Public Figures has been no exception to that. And I feel like they're going to be one of the top tier bands in the punk scene. I would even say they're in like the rock spectrum as well, because you'll see, listening to this EP, if you haven't had a chance to check out the songs, there's some stuff that sounds like Blur from Damon Albarn, referring to the band Blur, and there's also stuff that sounds not quite punkish, but it's got that energy, but it's more on the rock and roll side. And I think this has breakout potential written all over it. I don't know how long it's going to take, but it might be in short order. I think it might take 1 to 2 years, but with this EP, this is the thing to really put them on the map. And I think their floor, and I might sound like I'm talking out of my ass, but I think their floor is where Amyl and the Sniffers and the Chats are. I think they can actually go a lot higher. If you have seen their music videos, they're fantastic. They're phenomenal. Especially with Onto Something, it just sounds like a really fucking cool track to listen to cruising at night with your friends and stuff. And it has like that same feel as 1979, but I don't want to get too much into that because that's an episode you could check out later if you want to, the introductory episode to Public Figures. But just the vibe of that track, I'm like, man, this is like really cool rock and roll stuff. It kind of reminds me of like Brand New Cadillac from The Clash. But Cut It Out, their more recent track, I thought it felt like kind of a hybrid between the vocalist, let's say like the vocals of Romeo Void. If you ever have checked out that band from, I think like not the 70s, but the 80s. And then you also add in like the energy of God Save the Queen from Sex Pistols. And that's what you get for Cut It Out. But I hope I've hyped up this EP because I'm very excited to hear it. Hopefully this is your first listen, or if it isn't, I mean, hopefully you just enjoy the ride. But let's go ahead and get to the EP credits, and then we'll start listening to the tracks. So EP credits it is, and then we'll go to the music. Figure It Out was written and performed by Public Figures, with recording done by Gigi Argiro, produced by Gigi Argiro and Evie Vla, who are the two main members of Public Figures. Mixed and mastered by David Forcier. Drums engineered by Vincent McIntyre and Jasper Jolly. Cover art done by Matilda Quincy. So two other people that I have to credit are Lakota Vela, who is the lead guitarist, and also Sarah Hylands, who is the bass player. And let me tell you, if you haven't checked out the set from Fed Square in Melbourne, where Public Figures was supposed to play with the Amyl and the Sniffers, but they had to cancel their set because of safety concerns. Everybody was kind of bunched up together. They didn't want anybody dying, and I digress. But the main point being is that Lakota Vela ended up playing a portion of Thunderstruck within this video on their YouTube channel, so check it out. Or at least I'm like 90% sure. It could be on their Instagram, but you could follow them there too. All right, so let's go ahead and get to the first song of the EP, which is called Cut It Out, which was the last single they released before this EP being released. So go ahead and pull it up on your digital streaming platform of choice, and let's give it a listen. Once again, that track is called Cut It Out from Public Figures, Going In. All right, welcome back. That was Public Figures with their track called Cut It Out. Let us know in the comments what you thought about it. For starters, I just want to say that my opinion has not changed about this song. I feel just as excited to hear it as I did before the first time, and it is just as phenomenal. And again, that energy that comes out from like the guitar and Evie's vocals, fuck yes, man. It just, to me, it reeks of like Sex Pistols with their song called God Save the Queen, which is something I said earlier. Yeah, this band just fucking has it, man. I just feel like they have that sound, and that guitar riff, while relatively simple, it just kicks you in the nuts. I mean, for a guy like me, I feel like I'm getting kicked in the nuts, and, I'm like hunched over on the floor. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm like rocking out. But this is such a fucking great track, and the drum kit sounds great, and I'm glad that they had a specific person to track the drums, because the mix is fucking amazing. This Forcier fellow did an immaculate job, and I can only imagine that the other 5 tracks that we're going to hear are going to sound just as good. I don't have anything else to add because I've already kind of talked about it at length. Well, at least with the previous episode that we did. But just know my opinion hasn't changed. I think the track is just as phenomenal as the first time I heard it, and hopefully you enjoyed it too. And we have 5 more tracks to get underway with. So let's go ahead and get to the next one. The song is called Honeycomb, and it's going to be a first-time listen for me. I actually haven't heard this track, so this is a first-time listen for you and myself. So let's go ahead and pull it up on our digital streaming platform of choice, and let's give it a whirl. Public Figures with their track called Honeycomb, Going In. All right, welcome back. That was Public Figures with their track called Honeycomb. Let us know in the comments what you thought about it. Okay, so I want to preface in saying that we don't have the lyrics available to us, so we can't do any like lyrical dissection or anything like that. But nonetheless, these songs are creating like good vibes, and it's something you want to listen to while cruising, and possibly makes you even want to dance. But this track was really interesting because it's yet again Public Figures showing another side of themselves. And I'm talking about tracks like let's say The Clash with Brand New Cadillac, right? A cool cruising song. This one kind of has that same feeling. And if you've listened to LA Witch, a local band here in California, you check out that album, their debut album, and even their second album called Play with Fire. And it kind of has like that same rock and roll feeling to it. But on top of this is the part that really got me, was there's like these synthesizers that are heard in the background that remind me a lot of Joy Division. So I was like, oh shit, now Public Figures is throwing in the post-punk card into the mix. And I was like, oh man, this fucking band continues to surprise me in really awesome ways. And this track certainly highlighted that. And it was really cool to see Gigi Argiro coming into the fold for the vocals. So, I'm under the impression that we'll kind of get a balance between Evie Vla and Gigi Argiro potentially, or I'm not sure who the lead vocal is, but if we get 50-50, I don't have a problem with it. I enjoy both their vocals. So, let's go ahead and get to the next track, which I'm not sure what it is, but I'll definitely look it up to see what we're listening to. So it is Landed in a Trap, which was the second single that was released by Public Figures. And shortly afterwards, we had How I'm Feeling. So pull it up on your digital streaming platform of choice and let's give it a listen. Once again, that track is called Landed in a Trap from Public Figures. Going in. All right, welcome back. That was Public Figures with their track called Landed in a Trap. Let us know in the comments what you thought about it. You know, there is quite a bit of rain and wind going on, so I hope my microphone is not picking up on that. Hopefully, I'm not sure. But talking about the song itself, this has got to be the mosh pit starter. I haven't listened to this track in a while, so it was a nice refresher. And I was thinking, this has got to be the mosh pit starter track. And if there is one thing that it reminds me of, I'm thinking like Minor Threat, with how like scuzzy and fast and lo-fi it sounds. It sounds like it's recorded in a cardboard box, or it kind of has that aesthetic of sounding like it's in a cardboard box. But fuck yeah, this is a really fucking awesome track. And I don't really have a whole lot to say, but I could say that this EP has been super awesome so far, and it's a great introduction to Public Figures themselves if you haven't checked them out. And we're about halfway through this EP with only 3 other songs to listen to. And oh man, I am trying to enjoy this and savor this, because I know it might be a while before we get more tracks from Public Figures, an actual debut album. Who knows how far that might be, but I'm savoring every moment and enjoying this, and hopefully you are too. Anyways, let's go ahead and get to the next track. Ah, yes, we have On to Something, Old Reliable, the first song that I ever heard from Public Figures that slapped the shit out of me and made me a believer, a faithful of Public Figures. And hopefully this is the track that, if you haven't been convinced already by their last few songs, this is the one surely that wins you over. This is On to Something from Public Figures. Pull it up on your digital streaming platform of choice and let's give it a listen. Going in. All right, welcome back. That was Public Figures with their track called On to Something. Let us know in the comments what you thought about it. Man, if you haven't hopped in your car and cranked up the radio all the way to 11 with this song blasting at full volume, I don't know what you're doing with your life. You need to listen to Public Figures, because this was the ultimate jam. All right, I have a slightly new perspective to share about this song, and perhaps it's not identical to the song that I'm going to mention, but I feel like there's this energy that is emanating from this track that kind of gives off Gen X or like Billy Idol with their song called Dancing with Myself. I know lyrically they are quite different, and even in terms of the song itself, they're kind of not really related, but it's just like the vibe that they both give. And I made the comparison about Smashing Pumpkins with a song like 1979, where you have like 4 or 5 kids cruising in a car with nothing else to do. This has that like feeling to it. This gives off that imagery, that idea in your head that you're just cruising around with your friends with nothing, with fuck all to do, and having a good time just listening to music and just kicking back and, perhaps getting a burger at a local joint that you all enjoy and, just enjoying your youth, enjoying your existence, so to speak. But I just love this track. This was the introductory track that I heard from Public Figures that really convinced me that this band is really special. And we have 2 more songs that we're going to be listening to, and I don't want this to be over, but fucking love these 4 songs that we've heard. And let's go ahead and get to the next one, which is, let me look it up real quickly. All right, we have Repeat It from Public Figures. This is a song that I haven't heard, so this is a first time listen for me too. So pull it up on your digital streaming platform of choice and let's give it a listen. Once again, that track is called Repeat It from Public Figures. Going in. All right, welcome back. That was Public Figures with their track called Repeat It. Let us know in the comments what you thought about it. So I do want to quickly mention a few bands, Australian punk bands. that I forgot to mention previously. We have Split System, Civic, and also Sleepazoid. If you haven't checked them out, they're more on the polished side of punk, but I think they have a debut album coming on the way. Or if it's not a debut album, it's an album nonetheless. But check all those bands out in addition to all the other ones we've talked about. As far as the song itself, like I was thinking, oh shit, we got another mosh pit starter track, which is very cool to hear. I don't have a whole lot to add, but what I can say is that this song has a lot of fucking energy in it, a lot of frenetic energy, and I'm sure people are going to be throwing fists in the mosh pit to this one. I think back to some of the reels that I have seen from Public Figure's Instagram reels, and I just remember seeing people, or rather Evie, going into the crowd just like yelling and stuff. I don't remember if there was mosh pits or not, but there was quite a lot of people, and it seemed like people were pretty receptive to the music. But yeah, I just continue to enjoy this EP, and it just leaves me wanting more. Hopefully that debut album comes sooner rather than later. And we're going to end with the last track, which is called, it's called How I'm Feeling. It is one of the singles that was released just before the release of this EP. One of my personal favorite tracks that's grown a lot on me recently, and let's go ahead and give it a listen. Once again, that track is called How I'm Feeling from Public Figures. Pull it up on your digital streaming platform of choice, and we'll give it a listen. Going in. All right, welcome back. That was Public Figures with their track called How I'm Feeling. Let us know in the comments what you thought about it. This track has really fucking grown on me, and I felt like I was a bit too critical when I had initially listened to it, but having listened to it numerous times, like, no, the way it's structured with just the vocals from both Evie and Gigi, and then layering on that guitar, that heavily distorted guitar, and there's even like spacey harmonics played from the guitar that, yeah, I don't know if it's like a sliding / like harmonic that's being played, and it's got heavy reverb, but it sounds really cool. And then the song starts just slowly building up with the drum beat machine, and then the actual drums start coming in. They got like that right amount of crash and crunchiness, and that's the part where the chorus starts coming in, and it just starts crescendoing and getting louder and louder, and you hear Evie's vocal. Okay, so here's another thing that I really liked about this track and why I think it was the perfect ending to this EP is because of the harmony between Gigi and Evie. It feels like it's representative that this is like a team effort, not only between Evie and Gigi to make Public Figures come to fruition, but also the other members, Lakota and also Sarah. This just feels like a united front from within the band itself, a united front for punk itself. It's just, man, this is really top-notch stuff coming out of Melbourne, Australia, and this band continues to dazzle and leave me in awe, and I hope people are really turned on to Public Figures, because this is exemplary of punk rock music, or just rock music in general, and I just have the utmost respect for everybody involved in this project, including all the engineers and everybody that worked on this EP. But yeah, this was just a great explosive track, and as I said before, I felt like this track kind of had that feeling of Song 2 from Blur, Damon Albarn's band before the Gorillaz, and the way that song kind of just builds up and leads to the chorus. This song felt very similar in the way that it was structured, and even kind of some of the instrumentals felt akin to that. But fuck yeah, man. Public Figures is the class of punk rock and rock, and they showed another side of themselves with their song called Honeycomb, which we listened to. It was song 2, but let me just get to the final thoughts, and I don't know if I'll give a score because I don't want to say this is just an EP, but I don't want to give a score. I just want to talk about how great this EP was. For final thoughts, I just wanted to say that Public Figures outdid themselves with this EP, not only to showcase what they're capable within the punk genre, but also being able to expand themselves with post-punk sounds with a song like Honeycomb that kind of came across as like Joy Division-esque, along with other tracks like How I'm Feeling that feel more on the rock, perhaps even alternative rock type of sound that just shows how capable this band is to make great music. They are a essential group that is coming out of Australia and specifically Melbourne that everybody should be listening to. And I hope you enjoyed the 6 tracks that we got to listen off of Figure It Out. I don't have anything more to add. I mean, if I had to give a score, you already know what the answer is. It's 10 out of 10. I can't wait for that EP when it eventually comes along. Hopefully it won't be too long before we actually get that whole body of work. I'm hoping it's 2027, but if it's 2028, I don't mind waiting. But thank you again for tuning in, and I'll catch you all next time.